This is the Chalk Talk Show, your Call of Duty show for pure punditry, expect no expertise, and this is the first post-major show that we got. Gentlemen, I'm joined by my hosts, Davey and Orion. Let's talk Major 1. Give me your thoughts straight up. It was quite a Sunday. Let's go.
I'm
It
going
was
to be
beautiful.
honest. Yeah. I'm going to be honest. For weeks I was saying Paris is the best team in the game. Paris is the best. They're flawless, not flawless team, but like they don't have stinker maps. If there's an event tomorrow, I expect them to win. They have one bad match, and then I switch up on them and they win. I'm ashamed of myself, but it was a good event though.
It was. It was a really entertaining event too, I thought. We had a few 3-0 blowouts, but honestly, the stories around the 3-0 blowouts were even fun. Or, for me, they were a successful hate watch in some scenarios. Um, Overall, though, just really exciting major. I think the worst day in terms of the games was the Friday.
The
Or
Friday,
maybe
you
it was,
think?
yeah, it
Not the
was
Thursday?
probably the Friday. Oh no, yeah, sorry, the Thursday. I always forget that they start on Thursdays for the majors, but yeah. So I think the very first day, the
The first day.
Thursday,
I was going to say the same
was
thing,
the
yeah.
least entertaining day in terms of games. Every single day after that was a banger.
Yeah.
Every single day after
Thursday,
that.
3-1s, 3-0, 3-0, 3-0. Anyway, go on.
Well, honestly, starting from our Thursday team, I know we want to talk about the grand champs, but seeing as how there are local legends here, let's talk about Toronto Koi. I mean, they bombed out
Oh, you want to jump
spectacularly
straight
this
into
event.
that? I'm literally wearing the thing. I was at the watch party. Yo, that was. Oh, the moment they got knocked out, I was like in my head, oh, they better not be depressing tomorrow because that was the day right before going to the watch party. But it was fine in the end. Anyway, their performance did not look good at all. You saw everybody talking about it. Real not pulling his weight. Everybody calling for him to be drawed, but might be too soon. Even their CEOs out here tweeting that we're gonna keep the roster together for now. So that we have that settled in the income, but in the lobby did not look good. Tell me what you guys saw.
Nothing. I saw nothing from this team. Genuinely, I think that was the most disappointing part. Is that I feel like they didn't really have a high point or a shining moment. I guess maybe Joe Deceives at points was like kind of popping off, but in general, I feel like
Carrying, carrying.
they just looked so flat and uninspired and downright shitty. Like, how can you describe it other than that? Like, they just look really bad. I don't know if I talked about it in our podcast episodes, but definitely before the season started in our group chat, I did say, I'm kind of worried about this team. Something that isn't really known in the COD scene to the same degree because it's so big in NA compared to EU is cross national EU teams
Oh,
are
this
a
shit again.
nightmare to manage. I I strongly believe that's going to happen here. It's not looking good. That's what I would say. Definitely does not inspire confidence for the year because they have so much to figure out. I don't even think it's just a Real problem. I think it's just they look bad. And I think Kleenex, he's I don't know what you would call it, like vague posting on Twitter about wanting to go back to the SMG and like that sort of thing. Like, it's just not a good look. It seems so chalked over there right now.
I mean, if we, David, do you have anything to say before we jump into a potential Kleenex role shift?
Yeah, I mean, they got Nesloed in losers bracket by Miami, and it's like Toronto historically, to my knowledge, has been a good S&D team, and they've always been good at their third modes. And if they're getting Nesloed, something's horribly wrong. Like, I mean, I was hearing, I would listen to like all the different podcasts that like a lot of pros and ex-pros do, and they're all talking about how Kleenex on the AR, it's a mistake just from a roster construction perspective, and whether they can make a cross national EU team work, it's like maybe they can, maybe they can't. I don't know, but if they stick with this roster, I mean, they're a talented group of guys, but I don't know if the juice is worth the squeeze of trying to get this roster to work when you could just make a change and your ceiling would maybe be higher anyways.
It does seem like it's a combination of what you're saying with the introduction of a new variable of Spanish-speaking EU player, plus the change from Kleenex role into an AR, changes two massive things in the team. The communication aspect, which is integral to having a nuanced S&D play, but also just the pacing shift completely with a faster, or I wouldn't even say that Kleenex is a fast AR. He just seems like he's not playing it as a proper air. But that change itself in positioning and pacing makes having any sort of nuanced S&D play so much harder. And I honestly you can see like a lot of these players in trying to make individual plays in some of these S&Ds, which is, as Davey said, contrast to what S&D was like on Toronto Ultra, in which it was very well prepared. It was very well micromanaged, and people call it Toronto Ultra S&D style for a reason. It's just not there anymore, and they need to change it up. But do you think a change from Kleenex going back to SNG will fix it? I'm proposing. They're all in the dumps. Nasty, come to us. Nasty. We'll give you a good team. Come, Nasty. Nasty Insight. There we go. We got a British EU duo. That solves your problem there. And then we got Kleenex back into the SMG. That solves your problem there, Davey. Tell me how to fix it. GMs. No, I'm wearing the shirt.
I think for me, maybe this is crazy. I feel like Insight and Kleenex
Don't say it.
need to go back to their roots.
Okay,
not in terms of the guns on the map. Vision of how to play the game too much over the years. You remember in Cold War and previous titles like Vanguard, Toronto Ultra Listenants were very distinct in that they were quiet, calm, and calculated, even in the most frantic of respawn games. And Vanguard was a crazy frantic game, right? Like think of Bocage Vanguard, right? Like I love it, but it was like just insanity. So to me, I almost feel like last year with Beans and Joe Deceives was the first year we really saw that change where like their listen in sounded like a normal team's listen in. And I feel like over the last year and a bit, the Toronto team has kind of lost their special sauce where they don't feel like a unique team anymore with a distinct identity. Yeah. They feel like they're basically trying to copy the meta of like the best teams. And in my opinion, you know, again, I come from a League of Legends background. That was kind of like my main esport for a long time. This has been the perennial problem of North America in the League of Legends seed for like literally a decade, is they just copy the Korean style of play, but they do it worse. And so they're just never as good. And so I really feel like the team needs to go back to their roots. Kleenex and Insight need to be like, no, this is our team. Like you're either living or dying by us, but this is how we're going to work if we're on this team. And they need to just set the expectation and the standard, and they shouldn't let it be compromised. I really feel like that's essential to get them back in form.
Yeah, and it's funny you say that too, because you know you're talking about how last year was the first year where they started to step away from the very, very composed and quiet kind of ultra team that they knew. And last year was also the first year since I've started watching where they didn't win an event all year.
Yep.
So I mean, lines up. I don't disagree at all.
That one hurt. That stat line always hurts, honestly. Think about a rent-free.
Yeah, even if it was like and that's where, before we actually got to the major, I was saying, yeah, Toronto Koi, I think they're a good dark horse for Major 1 is because they would win the kickoff tournaments or Major 1 every year because they came out so hot. And partly I think it was because of that teamwork-based style that they now lack.
A lot of it has shifted into a lot. Well, it does seem like a lot of their resources are going to Joe at this point in time, and whether that's the identity they want to go or not, or if they want to rethink it, I mean, we'll see in the upcoming. The match is starting soon again, so they're gonna have to get right back to it anyway. But let's talk about the team that knocked them in the losers bracket in the first place. My boys. Let me. Le planète, les fantômes, le petit prince. Ciboulon, I stuck with them. I wanted to be known that ever since the Monster Invitational, I said they were top 2, and they ain't 2. And look at that. We had literally a rematch of the same grand finals. The last map was the same. Scar S&D, and who brought it back on top this time? Gentlemates. They played so good. Before we talk about that, you guys saw the clutches, right? Le Planète.
Oh, yeah.
Le Planète. We literally talked about him being, is he a superstar? What the fuck is a superstar? Why do we have superstars? Hydra's best friend. stand-up performance. He didn't play the best in the first few days, but he turned up and honestly might be contending, if not already claiming the title for best in the game right now. What do you guys think? Talk to me about Neptune.
I mean, after just deadlifting their way out of the losers bracket back into the grand finals with that clutch and that iciness, I mean, it's hard to disagree with that. He has so much impact. He's so composed. He's been in so many finals now, so he's actually like a rather, for someone who missed like 3 years, he's like a very experienced player going deep in tournaments at this point. And yeah, I mean, with a super stable and well built team around him, I don't see a fall off happening. I agree. I think he's probably in contention for best of the game.
Yeah, and I think what is really cool about Neptune is his gameplay is going to be hard to replicate. Where like, even if you know nerdy spots like he does in that Scar S&D, right? Like I've seen a lot of talk about like, are those fair spots? Should they be G8? Is it like a stair glitch? I think Optic themselves have come out and said like, no, we thought that was totally fair.
Yeah, Karma literally said that Shotzi and Hugh already had it in the playbook. They just didn't use it. So whatever. That shit's fine.
Exactly.
Anyone complaining, whiners. Let's move on.
Yeah, but where I'm going with this is like just knowing the spots isn't enough, right? Like knowing a niche nerdy spot doesn't make it a good spot. Like figuring out when in the heat of the gameplay to actually break it out and use it, that is what makes it very effective. And I think Neptune has shown now multiple times this year already. The rock glitch spot, I think it's fair to call it a glitch spot. I think it's fair to say that one should be G8. I think it hasn't been used since. I saw a clip of him himself saying, it was a bit sus. Fair. But this is now multiple times Neptune has gone deep into, his playbook and broken out these like weird cruddy looks that give them an advantage. And I don't think that's an easy style to replicate. So I think that's very exciting for him. And, it's not the flashiest thing ever in terms of, styling on people with a 2-piece or a 4-piece or a 3-piece. But you know what? He did that too. He clutched up on Colossus S&D in a major way. I also, I know it wasn't in the grand finals, but his 11 spree where he just genuinely 1v4'd a pro team for a whole hard point, that was insane. He gets the quad kill into the triple kill into the triple kill. Or no, it was like 2 quad kills into the triple kill on that exposure hard point versus, I think that was versus LA Thieves. Maybe it was versus someone else. I'm blanking right now. But yeah, I mean, he's just looking like a beast. He's, willing to play the cruddy angles and he's willing to just gun you. So what more can you ask for out of a player?
I want to take what you were talking about Neptune and how he's utilizing his macro strategy really well and expand that to Neptune. Yes, is showing that he has what it takes to be that level player, but it's also showing in his teammates as well. Like you saw this in the grand finals with Sib. Shout out to him during that what was it, the S&D, where he was getting like 4 first bloods off util initiations alone. A 2-piece, almost 3-piece nade off the initial util. We've seen this stuff before from a player like Sib back in New York. Everybody remembers the famous Karachi car bomb. But for them to be able to be pulling this stuff right now, Major 1, that speaks such great volumes to the team and how they're able to counterplay strategies on a macro level using not just their gun skill, but also just their utility. That's a very exciting thing for such a young team put together. Young team in the sense of these players are teaming together with some of them for the first time or whatsoever. The one thing I have concern about is that some of these later season players are going to be able to pick up on that. So in order for Genomates to have an edge in that side, they need to just keep innovating in that sense. But as you guys know, innovation is not something that goes well with Call of Duty. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think they're going to be a favorite all year. What can you say other than that, right? Like if this team doesn't make it to, a grand finals or at least semifinals, I think it would be a huge disappointment for the roster. Davey, anything you'd want to add in terms of this Paris team in general?
No, I mean, they're so icy. Sib on the sniper, like just running up into Delhi and getting that one on P1 on Scar was just It's so disgusting. Not everyone can do that, and yeah, I mean, I don't have much more to say. They're really just a really solid, well-rounded team, and obviously it showed.
I will say
Yeah,
this.
ain't no way Scrap is challenging that with the sniper. That ain't no way Scrap is challenging that with the
In regards
sniper.
to the sniper duels, I will say that the Dashi Sib duel this time around was a lot better to watch. A lot of times it was a lot Sib one-sided. But speaking of Dashi, let's talk about the runner-ups. Let's talk about Optic Texas, which a lot of people actually were a little bit doubtful coming into it because were not having the best showing on online for quite a little bit, starting off with the Optic will pay for this Kenny sort of showing. But they came into this weekend 3-0, 3-0 Riyadh, 3-0 Minnesota, 3-0 Paris Gentlemen going into the grand finals. Making the storylines were all over the place. Everybody, honestly, in my opinion, were getting a bit too huffed up on the storylines. They're 11-0. They've never dropped a map on LAN. They're perfect. They're gonna get 3-time back-to-back three-peat. And honestly, I think there are times where and this time those level of narratives kind of hurt them, at least in the eyes of the fans, because when Paris started off that grand finals, they went up 2-0. It very much looked like it could be a quick one finisher. But Optic fought back. They brought it back all the way to the last game. The turnaround from what we saw online to what we saw now, though, speaks very well of Optic going in, and I expect them, and I will be disappointed if I see them drop off like last year. I expect these two to keep going at it the entire season. What do you guys think of Optic Texas? Are they as good as the people say, or do you think they actually have some glaring issues that we're just not talking about?
I can go first. I mean, I now view them as a team where kind of no matter what form they're in, they're going to show up to a tournament and be kind of inevitable and probably make like a top 2, top 4 kind of placement, which is honestly I find really annoying because when I started watching Call of Duty, Optic was kind of in a phase where like they were always like kind of a good team, but then every tournament it would be like top 4, top 6, top 8 finish, and it was like, oh, okay, just kind of expect them to fail out of the tournament, like from Cold War all the way until like Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 3. It was like that.
You know what the you know why? You know why? You know what
Why?
was the prevailing part of that? It's because
What was it?
Scump was on the roster. It's 'cause Scump was on the roster.
Fans ain't ready to hear that. Dino.
I don't like the way that I don't like the way you're touching that microphone there. I need to just stop that. But yeah, I mean, honestly, I didn't grow up an Optic fan because I didn't start watching COD until later. When I was watching YouTube, I was always more of a FaZe House guy than an Optic guy or an Optic House guy. So now that I'm watching Call of Duty, it's like seeing how Optic can like be like last year terrible for most of the season, and then they just turn up at the end and win. It's like, again, I'm a football fan. It's like the Kansas City Chiefs. It's like even if they're like, other than this year, even if they're like not that good in the season, they're going to go in the playoffs and somehow just turn it up at that point and then almost win the whole thing. I get annoyed by it. I'm actually, kind of over Optic winning everything or getting close to winning everything. And yeah, that's all I have to say. They're inevitable and I don't like it.
Yeah, I think hopefully this will be a wake up call for them, at least in terms of allowing them to improve as a team. I kind of agree with Davey. Like, I'm sort of over it at this point, just because even when they're not a good team, they're just all anyone talks about. It's just so lame. Like, there's so much cool stuff going on in the scene. And like, I can only hear about, Dashi saying dead ass one more time before I'm going to like fucking blow my brains out, man. Like, yeah. Anyways, I don't know. I think it'll be a wake-up call for them. As I was saying before going into the tournament, Dashi looked like he hadn't even been practicing the game. Mercules is the best player on this team. He has been since he joined. This must be... I posted in our group chat, and I think it's true. Watching Mercules must be how it felt to watch Karma in his prime, where he just doesn't make mistakes. And, like, yeah, he dies, and, like, yeah, he, doesn't have a perfect KD or whatever, but just you watch his point of view and it's just like, again, like I don't know how to describe it other than he's just is playing perfectly. He's always making the right decision. He has the mechanics to back up the decisions he's making. He understands, like he has I'll call it like the simple effect where like people, in Counter-Strike talk about like Simple versus Zywoo, who's the greatest of all time. And usually what people say is like, if they're arguing Simple, it's because Simple just had this ability to like black out and just take over a game in a way that no other player could, where like Simple would just say, you know what, like I'm pushing the ramp with the op and I'm just going to ego chow the guy and I'm just going to 1v4 the whole enemy team. And he actually did it. Or, he would make like a crazy prediction in like a 1v2 post plant where he just like runs through the middle of the site, like with audio cues, like in CS, and just like deagles two people. And like you can never predict that. And he just pulls it off, kind of thing. And I feel like Mercules has that effect too, where he's playing like perfect controlled Call of Duty, and then he just understands he needs to black out in a moment, and he does. And he just goes insane. He makes the crazy play, and then he just takes over the game because of it. So, as much as I'm not that big on Optic, it is really a treat to watch Mercules play. Like, the guy is just a savant. What more can you say?
Yeah, I was actually gonna say, I didn't realize you were talking about Mercules in the group chat there. I thought you were talking about somebody else. But now that you've cleared that up, I will say, as your resident CWO historian, if you actually compare it to like just the personality you see in his gameplay, like the sort when you watch his POV, the shit he does is very much like Karma. Think about that what was it in Control last year, Black Ops 6, when he had that 3-piece as I can't see, was it Miami, was it, and Hacienda? Anyway, it's one where he pistol swaps and takes down 3 and he starts shooting the body, but Karma was exactly like that, where he would make these super aggressive plays, but have just this sixth sense. I agree with your analogy that he's kind of like Simple, but I also like to add that he had this weird sense of knowing exactly where people would be in the way that Zywoo does it too. But right after that, you see him BMing a little bit, and he's not afraid to do that stuff. But you cut to him on the actual cameras, stone face cold killer, exactly like Prime Karma was. Let's bring it back. First off, I just want to say before anybody catches wind of this and before I get fucking blasted over the fires, I don't hate Scump. I used to be a Dynasty fanboy. I used to be one of the biggest Optic Dynasty fanboys. Okay. Respect the Scump. But anyway, in the end of the day, even if they're not my favorite team or whatever like that, will respect this Optic Texas team. I can is respecting so much more now than I could back in Vanguard or Cold War or Modern Warfare 2 because this is a team that actually wants to win, and it looks like they have that mindset where they want to keep improving. They want not just to win for win's sake or have this sort of weak ego mentality, which some other players might be showing. Scrap. This Optic team, I'm really happy that they're sticking together because everything they're doing now is not to sort of prove themselves. They already have a legacy. Hugh, Shotzi, Dashi, they could retire now and be known forever as legends of the game. Everything that they accomplish now just adds on to their legacy, and they're not playing to prove anything. They're playing for greatness, and that's what I love seeing in Call of Duty. That being said, I'm more than happy that they lost this time around. It hurts less because my boys, gentlemen, definitely deserve this. Let's move on to another team, shall we? Speaking of people proving themselves and legacies, we have some players who, should be talked about as legends. Kenny, Hydra. Let's talk about Thieves. Do anyone want to start off? Shall we go into it?
I honestly, simply just from a personality standpoint, I think this team, you could just rename this team to the Los Angeles big egos, and it's going to get in the way.
Narrative. I love it. I love how we're running.
Honestly, I think this might be a two. You can replace Kenny and find someone that can, consistently shoot back in this game, and that would improve the team. But I don't know if that will fix the I think more core problem of Abizi, Hydra, and Scrap. Their heads are just. I think I suspect their heads are just too big, and it might be a two-person change. Just to I think the culture might be.
I love
I
how
think the
that's
culture
why.
is a little bit. I think the culture is self-destructive over there. Honestly, they wanted to get rid of Ghosty because he's a bad teammate or something. I don't know, but Ghosty just won an event, and this team just bombed out on this Saturday.
Do you think that buildup
So
of the beginning of last, even the off season of MW3, sort of slowly built this terrible culture? They're being called the super team. They're doing podcasts of how Nadeshot had to get all these players together, so he's taking money out of his own pocket to pay them and shit like that. Do you think that's actually a reason that impacts their gameplay though?
I mean, no, it shouldn't. But I mean, I think when you get to the top level and you're on a Sunday, I think both teams are going to know how to play the game pretty well and be pretty good at obviously shooting shooting back, but it's going to take more than playing the game well and properly and being able to shoot back to win events on Sundays. And I think it needs a culture of trust and respect and accountability. And I don't know if a lot of in a room of Scrap, Hydra, and Abizi, I don't know if a lot of those players are going to be sitting back and saying, I made this mistake, I made that mistake. And I just think the personalities, all the big personalities on that team, are going to get in the way of. There'll be a good team, I think. I don't think they'll stay this bad, but I don't know if they're going to win a lot just because I think the personalities are going to get in their own way.
Well, I'm going to drop a controversial opinion on this show, which is that I love this team. I love to hate them.
Oh, okay.
They are, truly LAT have achieved, they are a premium team in terms of being able to love to hate them.
I don't know if you can
can't really
this.
see the logo.
I can't see it.
It's a 100 Thieves shirt.
Okay. But just, they are the perfect heel. Seriously. We were making the analogy last week of, I see it now.
Oh, yeah.
We were making the analogy last week when talking about
WWE,
superstars.
baby,
Is this
WWE.
the WWE? But if it's the WWE of esports, then LA Thieves is the Rock.
Look,
They
someone
are
has to be the heel now that the trio's gone. Anyway, go on.
Yeah, they are the best heel in the game. You tune in every week loving to hate them. You know what I mean? Everyone loves to prey on their downfall. Everyone is shouting from the rooftops, Kenny with the 0.3 instead of an E in his name. Everyone loves to hate this team. I think they've really actually achieved something special in that way. Gameplay aside, the fact that it's so effortless and enjoyable to hate on this team, it's really maybe Nadeshot really is the content genius. That's all I got to say. Maybe it wasn't for the roster construction to win events. Maybe he understood that this was how, you make a team with a content level or personality level competitor to Optic. So I think that's enjoyable. In terms of their gameplay, they looked so washed on Saturday.
Oh my god, it was so bad to watch, dude. I was in the watch party, dude. The first match started off. It's okay, we might get a match. Nope.
And I think what's crazy is, after they beat Carolina on day one, everyone was flaming Carolina so hard because they're like, oh yeah, LAT was laughing on the cameras in the online matches. Wow, surprise, on LAN they're winning. And then before LAT played another game, Vancouver bodied Carolina. And at that point, I knew that win was completely worthless and that LAT was about to get dog walked. Yeah, they were about to get dog walked so bad because, yeah, that's not a good win, right? And then what a surprise, they have to play the tournament winner, granted, was their next match on the Saturday. So, they faced a really strong opponent. And then a team that made it to the semifinals in Vegas, game 5 of the semifinals in Vegas, another really strong team. So they went out against very hard competition, but they also got absolutely blasted in both series. So who knows? In terms of doing roster moves on this team, I just I don't know what you can do. Like there is just a cap in terms of, being able to pay cash for, talent. They've hit the cap in my opinion. Like I guess you could try and swap Kenny for like Mercules if you have like a literal $1 billion, but I don't think it's happening. That guy's an industry plant. He's not going to another team.
They wouldn't even be able to do that because they got Kenny in the first place on a cheaper price. They sold both Ghosty and Envoy in order to get just a BZ. So I really don't think they'll be able to get like a sort of big name to as replacement. But I think Davey had a little bit of spitballing over the weekend for these potential roster changes. What did you think? He had a wall of text about what LA Thieves should do for their new player.
Honestly, to fix the superficial problems of having a guy in your roster not really being able to shoot back right now, and he had the same problem last year. I actually think you can find a cheaper player than Kenny to fill that role and fill it in. So I mean, that's not the worst thing. I think some obviously it looks like they're going for Neum apparently. I don't know much about him, but
he's already on the bench.
I was suggesting you could throw. Oh, okay. I was suggesting you could throw Spart in there because apparently Spart's doing well this year, and he's an event winner. He's been in the league before, and if he's having a good year, then why not put him on the team? If he can shoot back, then he's gonna help your team improve.
I've just stop you right there. I don't disagree with the Spark take, but your Fugaze asterisk takes of Falcons are gonna be good. They have 6 rings on the team. Spart is an event.
Start sleeper demons, bro.
Spart is an event winner with the Volk that was fucking broken for an entire patch, dude. My God, I got that Volk in
Counterpoint, Slasher was on his team. Counterpoint,
you want to talk about
Slasher was on
innovation
his
in Call of Duty? Spart was innovative, bro. He was running a flash hider. No one knew about that.
Fuck you. The Volk is so good that it could overcome Slasher. Slasher wasn't that washed by then, though. They had Gunless that year. Well, actually,
yes, he was. Slasher was washed. Slasher was washed in Cold War. Slasher was washed in Cold War.
Not Cold War. Vanguard. But anyway, Spart with Volk, no argument. I still think he'll do better than Kenny. Anyway, go on.
Another one I was saying, we love him on this show. I don't know if any of the players love him as much as we do, but Cloud9 is gonna be blowing up. And Vivid might be needing a new home soon.
All right.
Honestly, 1-for-1 trade. 1-for-1 trade. Because right now that Cloud9 team, it's like all guys that are in and out, and they're all like. I think they have the opposite problem of Thieves. I don't think they have. I don't think there's one dude on that team that has enough of an ego. Send Kenny there. He'll boss everyone around, and he'll get them in check. He might not be able to shoot back this year, but at least he'll make the team more organized so they can, approach their matches from a more teamwork-oriented perspective. And then if you put Vivid on LAT, then it's a player that can shoot back for LAT, and they improve that way. So if there's ever been a 1-for-1 trade, it sounds super lopsided, but if you just take away name value, I think Kenny for Vivid 1-for-1 is potentially so crazy it just might work kind of take.
I like it.
Let me give you an alternative. That I just thought of. Flex Mac. It's not as warm over the
continues to bring Mac is he's an inconsistent demon. He's pretty good sometimes, and only once in a while does he look like nuts.
Does he need to look nuts when he's with a Hydra Scrap in the BZ? Look, he could be the best goddamn facilitator in the game, dude.
I don't know. I think the team throws him under the bus too quick.
Okay, fair enough.
Because I think of I think something in the history of Mac's career is when his teammates are bought into him, it massively improves his gameplay. When his teammates are not bought into him, there's a huge drop off. Maybe it was just playing with the skill vampire attach. But I think of in Black Ops 6 where he just hit a point in the year where he was just sprinting at the hill and just 1v4ing at the hill every single life. That's why he was dropping 0.5s for half the year, is because first half of the year he looked like a genuinely incredible flex, very, very solid. And then just for whatever reason he hit the point in the year. Maybe he was tilted, maybe the vibes were bad. I don't know what it was, but he just started not playing with the team, just solo dying all the time. My, parasocial theory is that that is caused by the team losing confidence in him. And how do you, this is a team that will lose confidence in teammates, as Davey's pointing out.
Look, all I'm gonna say is that one of the biggest problems which people are saying about thieves right now is, oh, it looks like Hydra and Scrap are fucking doing a kill race in the middle of the game. It's almost like Nadeshot promised whoever has the highest KD gets a Lamborghini. Honestly, that's happened in esports though before. Let's look up Virtus Pro, any old esports CS heads here. But anyway, they're just fucking not playing for. It looks like they're playing for goddamn kills, bro. It looks like they're fucking baiting
Playing
hard.
TDM.
But who else is played with somebody who baited the fuck out of their lives? Who is one of the biggest baiters we've seen in this fucking game here? Lei G. And who helped facilitate that? Mac. So I think Mac would fit right well in playing with a bunch of baiters. He knows how to use that to his advantage.
Maybe. I think this is the problem with the Hydra playstyle that I've been roasting for years, but he keeps winning somehow. So it hasn't been proven true. But every single time a Hydra team plays hardpoint, they outslay by 40 and they win by 10. And it's because Hydra's playstyle in hardpoint is dog shit. I will scream this from the top of my lungs. It is gold ranked play tier of minimap arrows, where is permanently he's playing too hard to spawn kill. He's playing it like he's trying to pub stomp, where he wants to put them in the spawn and climb his kill streak as fast as possible. And that's why when that New York roster in Modern Warfare 3, they would outslay by 40. Everyone has above a 1 KD and they lose the hardpoint game. And it's because the Hydra playstyle, look back every single year on all of Hydra's teams are like this. They always have incredible kill death ratios in the hardpoint and they're barely winning the map. They're massively outslaying, barely winning the map. And it's because his playstyle is terrible. It's a free-for-all playstyle. It's a pub stomper playstyle. And now that there is actually good teams in the league, and we're not playing the worst Call of Duty since, I don't know, COD 2 in Modern Warfare 2, all of a sudden he doesn't look that good, in my opinion.
Anything you have to say, Davey? Because I gotta take a detour real quick.
No, I actually, I don't hate watch thieves. I actually like thieves, and I want them to improve. So please do something about this. Thank you.
Okay, we joke about it all the time, but okay, Scrap, Abizi, very easy people to hate. I think as people, they're fine people. All things considered, let's go back to what you said about LT winning against Carolina. It was a quick 3-0. We thought it would be a lot better. It was such a snooze fest of a match. They got dropped down, and then they get fucking 3-1 by Vancouver Surge. Let's roll it back a week ago. When someone said, look at the camera and tell me, I tell you this. Where are my goddamn cookies, boys? Where are my goddamn cookies? You called me a madman. That Carolina was going down. I believed in TJ. I just needed to believe in him for one series. I want my fucking crumble cookies, boys. So, but in all honesty, what happened to Carolina? What happened? Just early land match woes. That's what I said.
Yeah, I think it's just that. I even mentioned it before. Although they were 5-0 in the new year, I said it last week. I said, I'm just looking at this roster, and I'm not sure if I buy it yet that they're going to do anything at the major. And I was right about that hunch.
Do we keep
I
them
think
together?
it's just first. What's that?
Do we keep them together? You think they're going to improve, or is this their peak?
I think if you if the split gets off to a slow start, then you can see about something. But I think it was. They were not even playing the same game that they were online. It's not like they just got beat in close matches. They were getting slammed in ways that we would have never seen them get slammed just 1 week earlier. I think they just got nervous on land. The way Craze was walking was not doing them any favors, and I think you can run it back into next stage. If it keeps going downhill, obviously make a change. But I think that's a flash in the pan of pitiful play.
I tend to agree. I think Lurks looked really good on LAN. I think he definitely proved himself in terms of being a like quality rookie, and maybe it was just that feeling of like, well, this game is already lost, and so he's playing loose. But I think he looked quite good in all of these games. I do agree about Craze. Like Craze looked like literally the best player in the CDL online, and then on LAN he's just like a wet noodle, coughing baby. And so that's a bit of a scary thing. All I'll say is poor Exceed, man. Poor
I
poor
was thinking
Exceed.
about that
Like,
too, dude.
yeah, like I
Took
just
2 years
I don't
to fix
I
his
don't even
PR.
feel good.
2 years to fix his PR to get back in here. Like we saw this happen with Hixie, where he gets in. Oh, he might have the greatest rookie season of the year. Gets shit on champs. Doesn't do well in what's it called in Vancouver, right? Gets dropped, or like he gets dropped from Ultra or whatever. Wait, he came back in BO6, right? He got dropped from in MW3
at the beginning.
Yeah, gets dropped, works his way back up, back in the league, gets shit on again. He goes, you know what? I'll be the smart one. Peace out. I'm gonna go finish my degree and not waste any more time of my fucking youth. But fucking Exceed recommitted to it. Spent 3 years. That's rough, dude. Like, hopefully they stick together and continue their level of play.
That is a tangent, by the way. Like there are so many players and challengers that have been doing it for like as long as I've been watching, and I'm just thinking like if you're doing this full time, how are you in just going into debt every single year to play challengers? Like Two Real, like does Two Real have like a day job, or do you think he's grinding COD all day and not making it to the league?
A lot of
Like
these,
how is he living? How does he pay rent?
a number of these players are doing it based off just of living off a scholarship going to a college. Two Real was one of those players, I believe, like where I think like 2 years ago he was playing on the university team while doing challengers. So that's how a lot of players do it. But like obviously that's like not enough, and a lot of these players are still living back home. It is very much a problem. I don't know. God, Ryan, we could literally speak to this because we had the risk of becoming those type of fuckers. I think we benefited from the fact that we're a little bit older, so we didn't fall into the trap of, oh, we're young enough to keep doing this. We played challengers for like a good bit and like committed maybe a bit longer than what most normal people in the brain should. But I don't know. What do you think about Exceed here?
I don't know. I think it's just it's a bummer that he threw up a stinker on LAN because now it's going to feel real to him, right? Like now the Burger, I don't know if the Burger King thing got to him before. I think it's impossible for it not to get to him now. And honestly, it just kind of feels bad, like it's the same way where like LA Thieves trash talking the Carolina Royal Ravens. That's not a good look for LA Thieves, in my opinion. Like, let's go. We beat the team of rookies that like everyone thought was a guaranteed lock for last place in the league. Like, standing up and telling them they're garbage is not a good look in that moment, right? Like, you wouldn't be cheering for LeBron if he dunked on a guy in a wheelchair and then started talking shit to him, right? Like, that is
the Utah Jazz.
Wait,
yeah, right.
that means that Exceed is a guy in a wheelchair.
No. Exceed's not quite on the level of the wheelchair, but the guy's an up and comer, right? He's a rookie
Yes.
or been on the cusp of it of getting into the league.
He's like a
and
journeyman
it's
at
just
this
not a
point.
good. Yeah, and it's just not a good look if you're a really good team. So I don't know. I don't think I'm going to enjoy the Burger King post as much as I used to before. At least if it happens for another LAN. I do agree. Keep the team together. Hope that they see improvements. Maybe get a sports psychologist. But then Bryant Satan's on Twitter saying he runs the whole org. So maybe not.
Right. They are fucking lacking. They're the only team with their players still playing from home. Before we move on to the next team, though, I would like to say I love how you took this discussion about Carolina and just rode it back into dunking on teams and hating on teams. But anyway, talking
Well,
about
hey, here, if I can give you a transition. Speaking of teams and players, I love to hate.
bro, you
Let's
took
talk
my
about-
transition. You took my fucking transition, dude.
Let's talk about a top 4 team named G2 Minnesota, who just,
What do you mean? What do you mean, man? top four versus all the odds though. Isn't that honestly biggest dark horses in the entire tournament? Everyone expected him to go out. I think we might have to relook your rookie of the year sentiments here, Davey. Well,
Nope.
no, he says. But also,
It still lurks. It's always been lurks.
we'll see on that front. Estriel. Maybe he might not be as bad as you say. Boy was dropping 40 to get to Sunday. What do you think, Mr. Biggest fan of Estriel?
Listen, this is the same thing that Estriel does every single LAN tournament. Here, guys, I'm going to predict the future. I'm a savant about Call of Duty. Every single LAN tournament, what happens is Estriel's on a middle-of-the-pack team, and he overperforms against a 12th place team, and everyone is like, wow, Estriel's crazy. He's hard carrying the team, even though they're comfortably winning the series. And then what a surprise. They get into a matchup where the other team is shooting back, and they get deep in the series, and the guy starts crapping himself. He's got the cold sweats. He's shivering on stage. Someone heard him call out to his mother. Like, the guy is just terrified. He's petrified in the game 5, and he throws up a donut. And this happens every single time. If you're a G2 fan out there, it's probably the equivalent of being a Fnatic fan in League of Legends, where once upon a time, this was a prestigious org, and now you're just getting the crap kicked out of you by middle-of-the-pack teams every single year. You have some hope that maybe this is going to be the one where we're going to make a deep run in the tournament, and then you just hardcore choke every single time. Estriel is not it. If you have Estriel on your team, you are not winning a tournament, full stop. Never.
Davey, let me pose a question to you. Do you drop Estriel before you drop Skies?
Dude, I don't know, man. It's like, other than Kremp on this team, I mean, Mamba's still a rookie, so let's see how he pans out. But other than Kremp, I mean, I don't know if this team just has as high of a ceiling as other teams, man. Like, if I was the GM of this team, I would quit because I have no idea what to do. This is kind of like, it's again, the NFL reference again. It's kind of like the Steelers, this team, where at any given time, you're just as mid can be. I mean, they overperformed here. They can make a Sunday. They can go out top 12, but generally they're as mid as mid can be. And that's kind of the worst place to be because you have to make a decision between, you know, really going for it and trying to put something sweet together or blowing it up and trying to start over. If I'm the GM of this team, I'm in the middle. I have no idea. I don't know. I don't know.
But you gotta do something. And replacements. How about your favorite? Let's put Spart there. What about that? Will that work?
No, Spart's already on Thieves, bro. He can't do that. He's taken.
Oh my god. So
honestly, like, I mean, give Capsidal like a fourth chance in the league. Why not? Whatever.
Let him do.
Take out Estriel, put in Capsidal. There you go. That'll make him you know. That'll put him in a grand final.
All I can say is that I can't believe that you guys have convinced me to get off the G2 train for this tournament when they fucking went top 4. I'm not listening to that shit again. I'm gonna stay in my GT hopium. In reality, they are probably just overperforming, and this is the peak of what they're doing. They're gonna become mid, but fuck that. In the interest of Call of Duty magic, I'm gonna stay on the G2 train for now because the C9 train is gone. That one is fucked up. That one has been suplexed off of the track. Poor.
Yeah, and what I will say, listen, I was hating really hard on Estriel, and rightfully so. The guy's garbage. But there is a bright spot on this team, and it is Mamba. I do think Mamba is money. I predicted him as Rookie of the Year at the start of the year. I think Mamba is so sick. I think give it 2 years, and he's going to be in the same conversations as people like Scrap is, people like Draza was before, like he's kind of got mediocre PR now. But I think Mamba is going to become one of the best players in the league. I think he's going to be a mainstay of the league.
Yes.
And low genuinely, Mamba has the best drip too with the boots.
He does. The guy was aura farming on stage. This is a rookie.
I guess you can call that
rookie talking smack.
I guess you can. Well, his trash talk was pretty fun. It was pretty fun. I will say
sneakers or like slippers, bro. Get the boots on. Be a real man like Mamba. Put the boots on.
I will say,
All he needed to elevate it one more level is the 10-gallon hat. Then he would be like peaking.
I did like what I saw of Mamba, and
I
I
got
did
it.
say at the start of the year, he's going to get better as we see him. It is good to see that even though he may not have the biggest performances online, he turned up at LAN, and that's what we like to see. Kremp also, I still like what I'm seeing. I might have been a bit ahead when I'm saying, oh, he's a top 5 player based on what I saw. He's still good. Kremp has become quite a nice piece in any sort of team. But let's talk about 2 of their matches against. They dropped down FaZe in an exciting match just to get beat by them. Let's talk about the other team there, FaZe. FaZe. I was saying how I'm a bit
Really
concerned
quick
about
before we get
draws.
into FaZe.
Okay, yeah, sure.
I'm very sorry to interrupt. Very quick before we get into FaZe for G2.
What's he gonna
Listen,
say now? What's
to
he
the
gonna say?
GM, I know you're struggling. I know you don't know what to do. As Davey said, you're middle of the pack. It's really simple. It's a one-man change. Just replace Estriel. You have all the other pieces. It doesn't even have to be that good of a player. Just put a SMG player that's willing to play with the team and doesn't shit his pants on a Sunday. Please, just get someone who can get the phlegm out of their throat and stop choking. That's all it takes. They don't even have to be good. They just have to be not the most disgusting choker in the world.
Oh my god.
All right.
Sorry.
Okay.
What were we
No,
saying
it's okay.
about FaZe
It's okay.
Vegas?
It's okay. It's all about putting out what we really feel on this show. Let's talk about FaZe Vegas. A lot of people were concerned about FaZe Vegas coming to this. I was actually a little bit concerned because Draza has looked like he was struggling. We were talking about this at the house all the time, where it looks like Draza does not look like the player he was before. The grinder, the absolute playing to the max. It looks like he's spending a lot more time at home taking care of the kids or something like that. Scratch that. Let's ignore that part. But FaZe, they turned up. Draza looked better. Abuza looked better. 0-4. People are coming for his head. Simp. What do we think? What do you think about FaZe? They made it Sunday. Simp maintains his Sunday stat line. Let's go. What happened? What happened here? What do you guys think?
I think this is the second best team in the game.
Oh. Okay. We're gonna touch more on
And,
that
I mean,
later.
if-
But
if-
Agreed.
give more.
I mean, because they would have made they make the final after the search and destroy they played, 9 out of 10 times. You can't rely on Neptune to do that every time. Realistically, they should have been in the final. The Zaza bros love them. Some people want to call them the Jordans.
Okay, real quick,
But, I mean-
as someone who isn't as versed into NBA culture, what the fuck is the Zaza Bros?
They both their gamer tags end with Za.
Wait, is that it? Is that literally it?
Yeah.
I thought that was an NBA reference.
Yeah,
What
like
the fuck?
Zaza is slang. No, Zaza is just slang. So it's just they're the Zaza duo.
What's the slang for? I feel so old. Am I an unk? What was it?
I'm gonna leave that one to an Urban Dictionary
Okay,
on
I
your
gotta look
part.
this
I'll
up.
just say that.
Okay.
It also helps that they're Abuza Draza.
The problem is.
But I
now-
do.
Go on.
I was gonna say, and I think Abuza is sick. Like we're talking about Draza right now, and he did have a huge comeback on LAN. He is always a LAN player. So I was feeling pretty good about that in general going into it. Not as good as he did. Don't get me wrong. I wasn't predicted him to be hard carrying some of these series. I'm not gonna give myself that kind of credit. I did think he was gonna play a little better on LAN. Definitely did play better. He played a lot better on LAN even. And then just Abuza is still, for my money, one of the most underrated players in the sense that people rate him. People think of Abuza as a good player. I don't think people are talking about Abuza as if he's a genuine competitor to scrap. And I think that's what he is. He is so good. He's also a player that heats up more and more through the year. He gets much better as the year progresses. And if this is your tournament one Abuza, this guy is going to be final at champs. I really think he's going to be a really crazy player this year.
And
he can snipe and snipe very well. I think him, Dashi, Sib, you can pick what order you put them in 1, 2, 3 in. I think it's them and that's everyone else for the sniper.
And I think other than Toronto and Optic, This, like, I mean, 04 and Abusa, again, they like maybe just thanks to last year, but they've made a lot of really deep tournament runs, and so have Simp and Draza. So, I mean, I don't expect this team to choke a lot in big moments. Like, I expect them to, stay composed and ice up. I mean, and Neptune did it harder, but I mean, I don't think that's a fault on FaZe. I just think Neptune took over. But yeah, I mean, this is a team that I don't think will choke.
So you think
And
you think 04 underperforming here and there won't really be an issue going forward? That's something
I
that
think
people
he,
can take advantage of, especially some of these
I
top
think he's
teams with really
gonna.
good SMG duos.
I mean, I didn't watch a ton last year. Was 04 like inconsistent last year as well on Vancouver?
04 was consistent. On he wasn't
So
like
that,
putting up the biggest numbers, but he was a very good facilitator on Seattle. Sorry,
yeah.
Vancouver. Fuck.
Yeah, so as the game goes along here, I think I suspect his inconsistencies will kind of start to go away as he plays more and learns more, and the team improves. And I don't foresee inconsistency with 04 being an issue if it hasn't in the past. And I think FaZe is going to stay a top 2 team.
If I were to take the glass half empty approach, I don't necessarily fully agree with this, but to give the other side of that, I do think part of why 04 was so good last year is there was a lot of maps where he could flex onto a third AR. And I think a lot of 04's best moments were when he was playing the third AR. So my too soon prediction is that 04 is going to be an AR by next year.
Okay. Well, we'll keep that running in the background. See what happens with there. See what happens there. We'll see if he becomes a flex. I will say, talking about ARs on this team and Ambuza being a standout AR. You guys remember when Vancouver had him on a fucking sub with Arcities and Illies? The times. What could have been with that team?
That team was ass.
Whoa, hold up. They had some standout performance when Illy was going off. Just saying. But anyway.
Yeah, when Illy was going off the drugs. Yeah. Anyways.
Whoa. Allegedly. Let's move on. What are the other teams we have touched on? We touched on a little bit at C9. Did you have something?
I would like to bring up LA Thieves again, if that's
oh,
okay.
for fuck's sake! Why do we keep going back to talk about? They're literally the Lakers
Because
of college.
if you look at it now, they put together a budget team for the Modern Warfare 3 season. If you put that team together today,
right now. Yeah,
that's a good team.
Yeah, but they're only a good team now because of the experience that they went through in Modern Warfare 3. This is what everybody's saying.
That team was ahead of its time. Put that roster together again today. And you know what? That's what you do, LA Thieves. Get rid of everyone. Bring back your Modern Warfare 3 roster. That's what you do.
Would they be able to do
it? It would probably be an upgrade.
I mean, yeah, it would be. Would they be able to get those parts? No, they won't be able to get Ghosty.
No.
They could maybe get Jodeci's with a lot of money, though. Koi are going to accept a lot of money. We would only expect so much money for Joe. He's a franchise player.
They're also not getting.
They can get nasty for
G2
fucking free.
That's their
They
best
can
player.
get nasty for free. And
Nasty's the only guy they can get back.
Who's the other one?
Kremp.
Kremp. I think they could probably get Kremp. They could probably get Kremp.
No, Kremp
they
likes
could get the
that
best
team too
player
much. Kremp loves G2. You can tell. He loves playing
Yeah,
at G2.
but does G2 love their players? Come on, they're gonna take them. They're gonna take the team's money so that they can then put it in their fucking Valorant team. Anyway,
G2 has loyalty because this is Estriel's 3rd year with the team.
Mm-hmm.
all right. Well,
And what has that loyalty brought them? Anyways.
I mean, look what the loyalty bought them with Nico and Munizzi. But let's move on to some other teams that we haven't touched on.
Hey, really quick about Vegas, just because we've talked about all the other pieces of Vegas, and rightfully so, there's lots to talk about there, but I just do want to take a minute to say, we didn't say anything about it because at this point, it's just inevitable, it's consistent, it's Simp, he is just always that guy.
There's nothing more to say.
We didn't talk about it because he was just that guy this year again, in this tournament again.
Nothing more to say.
I got nothing more to say. He's just that guy, stop doubting him.
Yeah. Like, he's going to be the GOAT. It's inevitable. It's going to happen. What matters is the journey there. Let's talk about some other teams. Miami, Falcons. We touched a little bit about Boston. Touched a little bit about Surge. Do you guys have any sort of opinions? I honestly don't really have any strong opinions. Maybe we talk about Falcons because they were the top seed coming into this, or almost the top seed Gentlemen just beat him out really quickly, but it could have been.
I mean, hold on, let me check the scores here. So
These
They
bottom
they
teams
got
are
knocked
so
out.
fucking forgettable that it takes us a little bit of fucking Microsoft
No,
processing.
Falcon. Again, I still think Falcons are good. They got knocked out by
Yeah,
what
your
I think is
sleeper
the second best team in the game on the Saturday.
Sleeper
I
demons.
still I don't think I've lost a lot of faith in Falcons. I still think they're like top 4 right now.
They're mid pack.
yeah, I think they came in, they flipped the coin,
They lost.
One
the
for
gotcha
two.
ball. Oh shit! My...
1 for 2, not that crazy on the coin flips. You know, not really much to say. Pred looked like he suffered psychological damage from losing Optic. Hopefully he uses that as fire going forward.
And then in
But
terms
honestly, go ahead.
go ahead. No, you go.
I was just going to say, I don't have a lot more to say about Falcons, so I'm going to go to Miami if we're good there.
Yeah, go for it. Miami.
And what I'll say about Miami, right out the gate, Trakes, I owe you an apology. I said meh about you in terms of rookies at the start. I'm really warming up on this guy. I think he is Metals 2.0, but where Metals is the kind of guy that he has these really low lows, like he's got extreme highs, like he can like play on the level of Rancor
We
carrying
saw
a
it
game
this
on that level.
weekend. Metals was fucking their best player, one of their best players, if not their best. Anyway, go on.
Yeah. So he can have that takeover potential. He also has the potential to go like 6-27. So it's a give and a take. I think it's worth the upside when you're a team like Miami to have that like kind of high highs, lows lows kind of player. I think they need someone like that. But for me, what is sort of selling me on Trakes is he can have those high moments of Metals. I think he had the one overload he was really, really popping off. But also, he seems very consistent. And I just really like his gameplay. Like the way this is like kind of, this isn't Moneyball. This is like, eye test type of thing. So it's not scientific, but just the way he like takes his angles and he like uses space around cover is just so smart. Where like you see him like taking gunfights around like the cars and trucks on exposure. On exposure, and he's like just finessing so nicely where he's like finding the little gap between like the wheels and the like front bumper and like finding an angle there, putting shots into the guy to get him weak and then taking the full chow. Just like really clever ways of like taking these micro gunfights or like the like kind of micro aspect of peaking angles. So I was really impressed by that. And like, again, that's not like Moneyball, right? That's like in the realm of feelings or like eye test type of stuff. But I'm really liking him as a player. I think he's gonna be a really nice addition to this Miami team, which I gotta say is not looking good for Real. Not looking good for Real at all.
I was gonna say onto your point, since you mentioned it now, that what we were talking about earlier about Koi, about losing their identity after all these changes. The biggest thing about Miami with this change is that they kept their identity. Whenever you watch Miami games, you know that it's going to be fucking amazing to watch in the respawns. But even now, ever since they added Super, you know that the S&D is going to have some great ass plays off of him. But with Trakes, it's interesting that they're doing this with a rookie, that they brought him in to mold him not to be a superstar player or anything like that. They're molding him to be a facilitator player. The player that Real was last year and the player that he's struggling to be this year in a different system. But the system that they have in Miami is completely the same. Took him a few matches, but Trakes looks like he is getting there. Like you said, he has these moments. Give a little bit of time, and I think we can still see Miami be a like sort of like that 4-6 bubble team. The real question is whether or not they'll finally make it back to the top 3. We saw that last year near the end. We need to see that a bit more earlier this year. What do you think, Davey?
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna be honest, I zoned out a little bit into what you're talking about, but I do like this Miami team.
I do that sometimes.
It's a Spanish group of play. It's almost like the new Toronto, but they speak Spanish. They keep their identity through roster changes. They're pretty icy and have great chemistry in S&D, and that was a good voice crack there. But yeah, I mean, not the most talented team by any means, but Rencor is really good. Super's, I like what I see out of him, and yeah, decent team.
Yeah. I do think they are going to be sick at the European majors this year. At the
Oh, that's a
European
good
events.
point. 2 EU majors.
There's 2 EU majors this year. They are going to turn up because this, like, I don't know about Trakes, right? I'm just not sure. But the rest of his team is kind of a Lanimal squad, in my opinion. Like, they always perform above what I would consider their, like, average standard on LAN. I think that's multiplied when it's in Europe, like we saw last year with them getting
yeah,
to
it's
the
gonna be
grand
so good.
finals. I'm hyped. Vamos. Like, they're, even if they're not the best team in the game, even if they're not my favorite team, I feel like I'm going to enjoy watching Miami games all year
The
long.
energy during those majors for any of the Miami games is great. Okay.
And the good thing is, to interrupt one more time, we have 3 EU orgs in the league now.
Yes.
So I mean,
yes,
EU major is
we
going to be
do.
awesome.
So okay, do you want to touch on other teams? Because I kind of want to talk about these EU majors a bit more.
I can quickly talk on Boston and Vancouver. In terms of Boston, I don't really care, so I'm going to move on to Vancouver now. Vancouver, I think, is only a 3-man roster change away from being a competitive team.
Yes, you build around TJ, right?
No. You either, I think if you're Vancouver, you have 2 options. You get rid of everyone except for Gwyn, and you build around that, or the league introduces relegation and Stallions replace their league spot.
Hell yeah.
Those are the 2 options.
Or we can just have 4 bottom feeder teams, because why not?
Really, you didn't like? I kind of thought, what's his face? I kind of thought Lunars was popping off this major.
It was a flash in the pan. He's terrible. I don't want to hear it.
Okay, all right. I didn't have that strong opinions
Same.
either way.
I don't want to
but
go
fair
down the
enough.
rabbit hole.
No, it's okay. We don't have strong opinions, so we'll let that simmer. Let's talk about EU majors. You mentioned it already. 3 EU orgs. Just okay. You two were talking earlier about now. Okay, anybody watching, I don't share the same sentiment to the same degree about. Oh, I'm so tired of Optic being all that's talked about. Optic this, Optic that. Let's go Optic fans. Optic suck and Optic cock, dude. But I was saying this before. There's a chance here. There's a chance here to have some parity, not in the teams, but in the fan discourse. We've got Birmingham coming up, and then we've got Paris, baby, vive la France, and you know, Paris fans, Spanish fans in esports, you can talk about this, Mr. LEC, but they will come out in droves. We saw just a taste of that last year in Madrid. We will see so much stronger presence. Talk to me about what you think EU majors are going to do for this goddamn dying esport.
One thing I'm most excited about the EU major for is to hear a cheer other than "Let's go team" or "Fuck you player." NA fans suck, bro. Like, genuinely, NA fans are the worst. Like, can we like, you know, figure out some rhythm here, guys? Like, can we clap on beat? Like, can we have a cheer that isn't just "Let's go Optic" or
That's on
"Let's
big.
go Ultra"?
That's all big.
Right? Like, it's just so boring. And yeah, EU sports fans are just on a different level than North American sports fans, frankly. Like, because of the, like, you know, I guess national pride, I would call it, for lack of better words, with like sports teams and everything. I just really think it's on another level. There's like a different degree of having your heart in it.
It's like unified camaraderie. Like, we saw that in Madrid, how like Hydro isn't even on the fucking Gentleman's team. All the Gentleman's fans were still cheering his ass on. It's
Exactly,
like one
and
French player and the entire nation's behind you. Like, goddamn.
yeah, so I think they're going to be really fun majors. I think it will be, you know, it's going to lead to some unexpected results. Call of Duty's always a game that has, like, you know, we always talk about how it's just whatever team shows up on the day, and it could be anyone that shows up on the day. I think that's going to be multiplied with the EU majors. So I think it's just going to be a really exciting year. I think it means that just like Major 1, there was like 4 teams that we said could win it all, or like you could kind of make a prediction for any team to win it all and have a reasonable angle. I think it's just going to be more of that throughout the year, and that's going to be really exciting. Yeah, and I think Koi better figure it out before then.
I think they will.
All I'm gonna say,
I will say I'm not excited about having to watch on an EU schedule, though. I mean, we're so blessed in NA in terms of the schedule lining up with us nicely.
You think so? I kind of prefer
easily.
EU. It ends earlier.
EU's going to be like, I mean, for me, I'm going to be at work all day. Like I ain't going to be able to watch
Alright,
anything
fair enough.
for EU stuff, at least on the Thursday, Friday. So yeah, I don't know. That's a bit of a bummer, but really, I don't actually mind watching VOD. Like, Twitch chat is just not, because there's no Twitch chat. It's YouTube chat. It's just not fun to have the chat up. So,
I was gonna say it's
I'm not
okay
missing
though
it.
because you're not gonna even enjoy the Thursday anyway. So
I'm not going to enjoy the what?
the Thursdays anyway, those have the worst matches. So then you can enjoy the Saturday and Sunday.
Well, I
There we
think
go.
the venues in Europe will actually be filled on Thursday, Friday. I think people
Oh,
are.
they for sure will. What I'm just saying is that the matches historically on Thursdays have been a little bit of snooze fest. But yeah, that's another point I want to bring. Like even in the Birmingham one, like EU fans are gonna fly in, and we're gonna see. We even saw it in Major 3 where there was as many people cheering Toronto as there was people cheering Optic, and that's NA Canadian fans. So imagining the level of EU fans cheering against the Green Wall would be a sight to see. Now, if we don't have anything else to say about this, I would like us to go into our group project here. Go back to university. Let's work together to make a post Major 1 tier list. Let's start with the bottom tier. First off, what is our bottom tier? What do we want to call our bottom tier?
Challengers.
Relegation.
Yeah. Relegation. It's Surge.
Challenge.
Is there anyone else? I don't think anyone else is truly in the relegation tier of like the F tier.
Not C9?
If we were to be traditional, no, I don't think so.
Okay. Just
C9 is in the multiple roster changes now tier.
okay. So
Yeah,
multiple.
I'd say they're last place in D tier. Like if we're saying relegation is our F,
Sure.
I'd say that last place in the D tier is probably New York. I agree they need
I agree with
changes.
that.
They need structure. They need Kenny. Let's be real. We're
I was
cooking
gonna
over
say,
here with that.
1 for 1 trade.
If our D tier is the multiple roster changers as our designator, doesn't LA Thieves fall into that?
I would probably put them in that. That might be a hot take for me. I don't know. People won't agree, but I think.
Do we
probably.
put LA Thieves in D tier multiple roster changes?
I think they're a solid B minus for my books.
So one
maybe a
change.
C.
One change, right?
Dude,
Scrappy, right? We changed Scrappy, right?
Don't super teams historically not work in esports? And that's what we have here. It's like you need people that are okay not being the stars. And I think you're not going to have a functional team in that regard unless you make more than one change.
Do super
You don't
I mean,
think
it's gonna
Abizi has that in him? I feel like Abizi is the most likely of the three besides Kenny.
Maybe. I don't know enough about Abizi. The FaZe content was always just so insufferable that I never watched it. I don't know anything about him.
Fair enough. All right, well, I think the easiest way to do these normally is to start at the bottom and the top.
Yeah,
so
let's do that.
if I'm going the S tier, for me, there's 2 teams in the S tier, and it's Optic and it's Gentlemates.
Didn't you say that you thought FaZe were a top 2 team?
That was Davey.
I think it should be FaZe and Gentlemates up there.
Oh, we're getting somewhere here. How about this? For now, let's put them
Gentlemates for sure. Yeah.
For sure. Look, they turned up a weekend. And they have glaring issues. That's my proposal.
Let's start
I don't
there.
hate
It's
it.
easiest to get everyone on the tier list, and then you can shuffle them around, I'd
Yes.
say.
All right, blue collar. Why am I calling that?
Blue collar teams. I think Miami Heretics is like the
Yeah.
poster child of the blue collar teams. Yeah, I think
Absolutely.
they're. Yeah,
But
I think you
G2
could also
plays
throw-
top 4.
No, I think You can also right now also throw Falcons in there as well. In
Oh.
blue collar.
No, fuck that. I ain't doing that. I'll give you C. I'll give you C. I ain't putting a 50-50 coin flip sleeping demon on blue collar right next to heretics.
That's
You're
why
putting
they're
a
blue
s-
collar though. They're
No.
coming in every day. They're working hard at the factory. They go home. They roll on their sports slots app on their phone. They lose all their money, and tomorrow they're back at the factory. You know, they are that squad.
I know, and you can't put a team with 6 rings in the same tier as Boston. You can't do it.
Okay, hold on. Let me do some quick counting here. Who else has a lot of rings here? You know what? I'll put this here. I'm holding on to your 6 rings comment till we get to a different team.
All right. Well, listen, C tier. I think it's got to be the Ravens. You know, I guess they've really sucked on this land, but honestly, I think there's hope. You know, they're not awesome, but I think there's hope.
I think if you put Ravens in a match with Heretics right now, it would be pretty competitive. So I would argue you should put them up in blue collar. Oh,
Blue collar. That's a lot of conjecture, though. You're thinking that they're going to maintain their play and bounce back from this?
going off of the premise that we stated earlier that we think this, show up at the LAN was like a flash in the pan, poor performance. Then I think before I would have put them in gold star champ, but I mean after that I knock them down a little bit, but I still can't ignore that they won 5 in a row against a lot of good teams. So I would still put them in blue collar.
You know what? I do think that
But
putting
if
them
you wanna
I
go all
might
right,
be
I have
reactionary. I'm leaning a little bit more on your side, honestly, because looking at them as like, okay, they're not looking at them at their performance and judging them as that might be a bit too reactionary. So I'll give them a benefit of doubt as well and just put them on the level of these guys. Maybe the lower part. Well, we could put them in lower B. How's that sound, Orion?
Yeah, sounds good to me. I think an easy one for us, Boston, D tier, probably the top of the D tier, unless Koi ends up in there too. But I think they're clearly better than Cloud9, but they're not very good.
I think the rest of these 3 teams could probably all go in I8. That's what I would do. And that gives us a perfect bell curve for the tier list too, which not enough people do. Everyone,
I know, right?
Do
Yeah,
tier
yeah,
lists
yeah.
And they're like S, 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 and then there's nothing in like the mid tiers. I'm like, okay, so you just need to kind of recalibrate what an S tier is here, guys. But
Now, judging off what
this
you guys
is what
were
I would do.
Judging off what you were saying earlier, Davey, you'd want this.
Oh, are we going like in order in the tiers as well?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's what I would do. But I've been inputting a lot here. What do you think, Orion? What
I think
stands
I
out
could
to you?
go either way on this. Like, to me, it's just FaZe and Optic are the 2A, 2B, right? Where Gentlemates, they've earned the crown. They're in the S tier for good reason. I think after that, like FaZe, Optic, you can go either route. I really do believe it's just, they have the rosters to go head to head. Who's showing up on the day? That's all it comes down to. In the head to head, FaZe Vegas have Draza, the CEO of Optic. I think it's inevitable that they edge this one out.
Hold on, I'm not fucking letting this fly. That's got to be there at least. I have to.
Fly. That's good. Good pun.
Yeah, why do we have all the bird teams in B? Is it B for bird? Forget blue collar. Like,
Blue collar birds.
Heretics aren't a bird though.
no, but they haven't shown that they can be an A tier yet. Let's be honest. Like, they're not on that level. They are still B tier until they can show themselves at least getting to a Sunday. Like, when we can see some hope that like they can be a top team, then I'm willing to move them up. As it is right now, as in today, I don't have that hope that like, yeah, I have an angle for them beating FaZe Vegas kind of thing.
This might be jumping around, but I don't like the look of Koi in I8.
I was literally gonna say something's not right to me, and I think it is this.
No.
I thought we were going the other direction.
Me too. They either need to be at the bottom of I8 with like a gap, like you need to insert like a blank square so there can be like a space in between them and G2,
I don't think I.
Or if we consider a Kleenex kind of role switch as it's not a roster change, because I wouldn't say Koi needs multiple roster changes, but I think they're like, I would put them at the top of the Boston Breach tier.
I tend to
They're
agree. I
real
think they have a
bad right
lot
now.
to figure out. They have a
Even
lot to
even
figure out.
below a Minnesota that's overperforming.
They got double first rounded, man.
Double first rounded. There's players other than Estriel on G2. You know,
Yeah.
it is what it is. G2's not going to win a tournament, but they knocked out some people. They put
Yeah.
FaZe Vegas in lower bracket.
Koi have what it takes to win a tournament. You're doing
No,
conjecture
they
on
don't.
G2
Not
though.
right now. No, they don't. Not right now. As it is right now, they're not even going to make it to a Sunday, let alone win the tournament. They might not even make it to a Saturday in their current form. Like I feel like it. You know, we talked about it at the very start of the show, so maybe it was long ago, but I feel the need to reiterate it. This team is bad. Like, they're really bad. They went out top 12, and it wasn't even
hurts, I
really
know.
close.
It hurts. No.
Stop.
No, Dino, you're like Nate Shot right now defending Kenny. It's like, hey man, like 5 years ago, this guy was insane. You're putting too much disrespect. It's like, yeah, I don't care what he did 5 years ago. Right now, this team sucks.
Overactive. I want you to know that I'm the only one out here defending. This is my
like
proposal now.
to-
This is my proposal. This is my trade.
Good compromise. Good compromise. Good compromise. I'll compromise there.
It maintains the bell curve for that reason alone, but we
Yeah.
got our eye on you, buddy. We got our eye on you.
They're on the hot seat in that tier.
Yeah.
All right.
Otherwise, though, I think this is looking pretty good.
happy
Maybe
with this.
you could swap LA or G2 around, but you
Gladly.
know, they're just
Gladly.
aight, you know, like
Gladly.
they're just aight. Who cares? Like that's my other problem too with a lot of these squads tonight. Like, just who cares? You're just aight.
How the fuck have we slowly made G2 from bottom of this tier to top of this tier?
Because they got top 4.
Yeah, that doesn't mean shit. We know that it's just gonna be a flash in the pan. Just like how we're calling the flash in the pan for Ravens too.
Listen, if you want to go up to A tier, maybe even S tier, it's one roster move away.
Okay, let's lock it in here. Let's lock in this tier list, and this is our
I
official
actually
chalk
think
tier
this
list.
is pretty perfect. I think this is perfect.
I haven't even seen any other tier lists that the other community made, so I'm really interested to see how our nicely looking bell curve will look against theirs. So that's been Major 1. What a fucking ride it was. That was a lot to talk about. Real quick before we end off here, let's just talk about the matches already coming up super soon. Next week, I believe, right? Let's double check this. Is it next week? Starting next week already? I just bit
Let me
my
see.
tongue. 2/13. It is literally starting next week, dude. Yeah, we're right back into it really fast. Talking about long off season and a long December break, and we're right back into it. Let's, Orion, you want to talk me through the upcoming matches?
Sure. So I'll talk about Friday first. Toronto Koi versus Royal Ravens. Onliner versus Bad Team. We'll see how it all turns out.
And which one is
FaZe
the
Vegas
onliner
versus-
and which one is the bad team?
I'll let you figure that one out at home. Miami Heretics versus FaZe Vegas on Friday. This is the sleeper of the whole weekend. This is going to be a banger of a series. I'm calling it right now. Miami Heretics is going to have taken home a lot from that land. FaZe Vegas is going to be a little bit complacent because, you know, they got so close to their peak, and it's always hard to keep grinding right after that. So I think that Miami Heretics versus FaZe Vegas is going to be a really, really fun one for this weekend. Otherwise, my other kind of sleeper match to watch is Boston Breach versus Riyadh Falcons, just because I think that Falcons is exactly the kind of team to come in here and get 3-0'd by Boston Breach, and that would be a very fun hate watch.
That one's on Sunday, right?
Exactly. The other one would be the Royal Ravens LA Thieves matchup on Sunday as well. It might be fun to see Royal Ravens win and
match.
continue their online narrative, but really, I'm not that big on it. I would love to see LA Thieves lose, as I would every time they play.
Would be good beef narrative. We'd see Exceed versus Scrappy narrative up in here again.
I have my eyes on the Thieves Surge match. Because, you know, Thieves will have made the roster change by then, whoever they put in place for Kenny. If they don't mega pound Surge and DoorDash them, even if they win in like a 3-0, 3-1, but it's like kind of competitive, it's a problem. It's a problem. Thieves need to make an absolute statement in that match, and if they don't, then I am calling for another change.
You know what? Here's a quick take, and we'll see if it ages very poorly like milk. They're keeping Kenny. They're gonna keep Kenny this entire next major run, and they're gonna perform a lot better. They're gonna pound them. Yeah, they will pound them. I'll say it here now. No fucking fence sitting. Thieves with Kenny are gonna pound Surge, and they're gonna start to gain momentum. They will beat Ravens as well.
What do you think the Surge roster is going to look like? No way Surge is sticking. No way.
They might. They're just poor, right? Like everyone's on minimum over there.
Yeah, it's so fast, right? It starts next week.
Yeah.
They got to announce it like tomorrow.
And in my opinion, I know that we have the feeling that it's a flash in the pan. Lunar's earned his spot for another major. I think if anyone's on the hot seat, it's Abe. He just looks terrible. Like, I don't know what happened to the guy, but
Poor Abe.
yeah, he doesn't look good. He doesn't look ready. Bottom line.
Bro was saying in his little interview, he knew he was next up. Anyway, any other matches? What we got here? Let's look at my boys. Gentlemates against Falcons. We got that. Gentlemates, Heretics. We got that. Anyway, Optic, Minnesota. Here's a weird thing. I can very much see Optic lose these online matches.
Oh yeah, they're a different team online compared to LAN. I think it's very real for them to lose. I just don't care. That's my bottom line. If the players don't care, I don't care, and it's clear every time it's an online match. Optic doesn't care, so I don't care.
Oh my god, what other matches we missed? Koi Vegas. I regret bringing that up because I know that you two are gonna go in now.
There's nothing more to say, man. They're going to get slammed. Like, what he wants to say. They're one of the worst teams in the game right now, playing one of the best teams in the game right now. They don't have anything figured out. They suck. They just suck, Dino. When are you going to figure that out?
Reserve what I say. Reserve the right
Which
to
is
say
it's
anything.
so sad because like historically, like Toronto versus FaZe has always been like one of the best matchups in any given year.
Yeah.
So I mean, seeing it, reduced down to this is very upsetting. The good old. I wish there was a way to know we were living in the good old days while they were still happening.
I'm gonna have faith. They're gonna switch clean, expecting SMG. Well, okay. We'll see. We'll see more life out of them. The other matches: Riyadh Falcons, Boston Breach. Honestly, I don't care. G2 Minnesota, Cloud9 New York. I also don't care. And those are the rest of the matches. Anything else, boys?
Going to be a good year of COD, man. Nothing more to say. I've been saying this since day one. It's a very, very fun year to watch. Thank goodness I'm not playing right now. Shout out Rank Play coming out soon. I'm going to be abusing the G8 SMGs like nobody's business because the Dravik is the most boring gun of all time. But it is a great year to watch.
Yeah, it's really sad that, the community doesn't and the masses don't like Black Ops 7. They think it's one of the worst ones ever because the campaign is bad, because that's always been the most important part of Call of Duty. That's what everyone always buys it for, the campaign. This multiplayer is the best one that, we've had since I've been watching the game, and it's one of the best. As far as I'm concerned, it's fundamentally it's one of the best multiplayer experiences in any COD I've ever played. I'm excited for this year. It's a fun game. I've started playing the game again, actually. I've been trying to get my shot back before Rank Play comes out, and
True.
it's fun to play.
It was on Friday,
it's
right?
Fun. I like it.
Gotta reinstall. Yeah. On your point though, it is so funny how we get some of the best years of competitive when the actual main game is written off by the greater community because of campaign. This year with BO7, MW3, people are like, it doesn't have a good campaign, weird. Great year, great parity between four teams. Infinite Warfare, it's Jetpack, most disliked Call of Duty game, disliked video on YouTube. Great fucking year. It was a great fucking year. But I feel like I agree. It's going to be a good one this year as well. That's been our post-Major 1 recap. What can we say? We're excited, especially with the EU majors. Vive la France! See you guys next time.
Bye, guys.